This is the story of the camping trip that ruined my fucking life. Not really. But okay, so I have a buddy. We'll call him Dave. Dave had a girlfriend, Jane. Jane was a little fucking crazy, but I had no idea to the extent. For context, Dave and Jane were drug users of the variety. I never got into that, but them and their whole friend group were. One weekend, I'm sitting at my house playing Gary's Mod. Friday after work, whatever, I'm fucking playing Gary's Mod. Dave calls me up and says, "Hey, let's go. We're going on a camping trip. You're coming along." I'm like, I don't know. He's like, "No, dude, fucking come, leave your fucking house. It'll be fun." I said, "Okay, Dave, I'll do it." I wish I hadn't fucking done it. The way this weekend turned out, I literally would have rather stayed home and gotten fucking cancer on Gary's Mod Dark RP all weekend. That literally would have been a better outcome to my fucking weekend, bro. Um, so we go on this camping trip, and like we get set up and like we're chilling, we're having a good time. I think the first night was fine, more or less. Other than the usual antics, literally everyone, there was like 5 or 6 people other than me, Dave, and his crazy girlfriend, and then some other friends and stuff, all Hoover and Schneef, and I took no part in that, but whatever. I was just hanging out with the people, vibing, and then I believe it was night 2. An incident happens. There's a mix of guys and girls in this friend group, and other couples as well. So what they're over by the bathrooms, Dave and these 2 chicks, and there was like a spider in the bathroom or something, and they told him to come check out this spider, so he did. Now Jane and one of the chicks' boyfriends, who's kind of like this buffed out fucking on Schnee fucking crazy dude, he actually kind of a legend. I actually kind of like that guy, mostly. So the crazy boyfriend and the crazy girlfriend see the people going into the bathrooms together over here, so they come over to fucking raise a stink and what's going on. And the dude calmed down pretty quick and realized, okay, nothing's going on. But Jane, the crazy girl, she starts freaking out. And keep in mind, alcohol and drugs, which fuels people going crazy. And like it started as just like screaming match, and they were arguing. They were sitting in the truck arguing while the rest of us were just like sitting around the campfire, like trying to vibe. And we actually still did a fairly good job of vibing, even with everything going on. Now this fighting lasted the remaining like 2 days or whatever of the camping trip. We were out there for like 3-4 days or something. It was a long weekend. And like, So at first they're just fighting in the truck, and then occasionally Dave would come back and hang out with us. And then, she'd come screaming, so he'd like shoo her away to the truck so they weren't like arguing in front of everybody. At one point, she starts to get violent. She starts like swinging on him and shit, right? And so now people are getting involved, like, whoa, break it up, like, whoa, why are we swinging on people? And the whole situation starts to get really tense. And then at one point, she tried to storm off. So Dave comes and sits at the fire after, and I think at this point she was already punching. So my man has been punched in the face like 3 times already. If only he knew what was to come. He comes and sits by the fire, and we're like, dude, is everything all good? Like, hey, like, I think someone literally said, hey, aren't you worried about her taking off with the truck? Dave says nothing and pulls the keys out of his pockets like, hey, got him right here. Almost as if on cue. The truck starts. No keys. This bitch started the truck with no keys. Tried to drive away, but it was a fucking... No. So here's the thing. Dave always drove manuals, so I thought the reason she couldn't drive this truck away was because it was a manual. But no, she couldn't even drive away in the fucking automatic, dude. Or I don't know, maybe it shut down because it realized she started it without the keys. Holy shit, right? the situation continues. Like the next morning, we all wake up and things are peaceful around the campsite because, you know who isn't awake yet. And fucking... And it was so peaceful around the campsite. And then all of a sudden, at one point in the morning, Dave is there and Jane is there. And they see each other, and then she just starts fucking going at him and punching again. Okay, I gotta pause for a minute. I gotta read some of these chat reactions. Alcohol and drugs, my favorite parents. Oh my god. Over here in NA, I don't think so. No, I think for most people, regardless of men or women, the norm is automatic. Yeah. Okay, so she starts swinging at him again, right? And like this goes on, and I don't know. There's some fucking details in there I don't remember. The whole situation starts to get like really tense. And then at one point, she starts really freaking the fuck out, really going off on him. And then people start to get involved, and she starts swinging at them too. At one point, I got in between this girl and my friend. I'm watching my friend get the fuck beat out of him by his girl. I stood in between them during one of the many altercations that happened over this weekend. And yeah, she fucking clipped me on the job, bro. Like, she got everybody. So it gets more and more out of hand, and she starts fucking screaming, and like even more so than before. And she starts beating my boy and wrestling him. And then at some point she fucking bites him. Which is like crazy. Like I believe my boy received 2 to 3 human bites from that bitch that particular night. Yes. Now remember the Giga Chad cocaine boyfriend? Dude guy who thankfully came to his senses really quick in the incident. I gotta give him a fake name. We'll just call him Giga Chad Cocaine Dude Guy. So Giga Chad Cocaine Dude Guy starts to get involved. He's like got her in like a chokehold and stuff. And like it was really weird being in that situation, like watching this dude like put this female in a chokehold. But this is a female that is repeatedly assaulting multiple people. And I mean, like some of the people that were on that camping trip weren't like super familiar with the friend group, so they're feeling like really uncomfortable out in the middle of the fucking woods, basically, with like this crazy bitch going off and assaulting people. Right? It's like, I don't fucking feel safe here. Right? That's like that is a really concerning situation to be in. I can definitely see that. So he like gets her in a fucking chokehold and stuff. And she starts screaming and like crying and like, oh, let me go, right? Like goes to the poor me act as soon as she's restrained. And like, he's like on the ground, he's got her, and he's like totally reasonable, stone cold. He's like, Jane, you just have to stop assaulting people. You have to stop assaulting people, Jane. Like, are you good? Can you stop assaulting people and just walk off, cool off? And she said yes. He releases the grip. She immediately starts like swinging on him and bites him as well. Giga Chad Cocaine Guy also received 1 or 2 human bites that night. God, is there any other resounding details? I think the height of the story is the fucking biting. There might be more details. I probably trauma blocked them out. The worst part about this whole fucking weekend, 2 things, actually. The whole ride home, I came with Dave and Jane, so I rode back with Dave and Jane from where we were camping, and I had to stare at the back of this bitch's head the whole time, and she was playing all nicey nice the next day, and I blacked out and things got out of hand, and everybody was playing nicey nice with her, which I was just like, y'all are fucking ridiculous, Jesus. And then the other worst part is after that incident, he still didn't break up with her. It took so long for this friend of mine to break up with this crazy girl, but it did eventually happen. Thank God. Yeah, like this is why I don't touch grass. That story right there is like, see, that's the thing. I couldn't leave in that situation. No one could leave in that situation. I guess Giga Chad Cocaine Guy and his and his girl could have hopped in their truck and left, but they chose not to. I had no way out of that situation, until I left with them out of the weekend. Like if I could have left and went home, I probably fucking would have, but I was just kind of stuck, right? Like, dude, oh my god, yeah. Yeah. I know, right? Like, I know. It's crazy. That is legitimately one of the craziest fucking experiences I've ever had in my life. You know what's we still did manage to salvage a good weekend, minus like those highlights of events. Like, we were just sitting around the fire and like talking, and like I had some pretty good conversations with a couple people. Actually, one part of the story I do have to tell. It's great. So I'm in the Giga Chad cocaine guy, right? We're in his truck. Dave is in there as well. Remember, everyone else at this camping trip is a user. So they're doing coke in the truck. I'm not partaking. I've never partaken in that. I have no interest in partaking in that. I'm not necessarily gonna fucking shun people if that's what they want to do. Whatever. I don't control your life. So whatever. I'm just sitting in the truck with them while they do it, and it was a really funny contrast. There's like Giga Chad cocaine guy, and then there's my buddy Dave, who is usually a pretty laid back dude. And so, they bust out the stuff and they start doing lines. And Giga Chad cocaine guy, he does a line and he's immediately, woo! Shirt off, silver chain, right? Like he was fucking like alpha male the whole weekend. Like, oh, like type shit. So he takes the line, he's, woo! My buddy Dave takes the exact same size line of drugs and goes, yeah, that was pretty alright, I guess. Like, same amount of the same thing, completely different reactions from these polar opposite personalities. I found that really interesting, like, witnessing that firsthand. Actually, there was another time I more than once ended up hanging around coke users, and I was at a house where many coke users hung out and partied, and I spilled my drink on the Coke mirror. There wasn't any Coke on it when I spilled it on there, but I did spill my drink on the Coke mirror. And I did get death stares. They're like, you're lucky there wasn't anything on there. I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit, bro. Like, you guys all seem pretty fucking chill until someone fucks with your drugs, right? Like, and yeah, that was the last time I ever stood at the fucking mini bar in that house, dude. Not that I went back that many more times, but... yeah.